Okay, let's talk about brushes. So in my brush kit, I always start off with my brushes that when I'm working on eyeshadows, I'm going to start off with my flat brushes. As you can see here, there is several different head types of the brush, and that just depends on the amount of space you've got to work with on the eye. If I've got a big space I can work on, I'm going to use the bigger brush and press my colour on, or do a socket or whatever I might be doing, but I'm using a bigger brush for a bigger area and a smaller brush for a smaller area. When you're putting on a highlighter just in the inner part of the eye, these are the perfect size because it fits exactly into that shape right there. So the blending brushes for the eyeshadow, I've got different head shapes. So we've got like a small dome, we've got like a nice fluffy brush. When I put this on, I can give a wash of colour with this because it's going to place product on the skin in a softer application. Whereas my flat brush is going to place it on in a stronger colour or a stronger tone or a stronger application. There's different head sizes as well, so don't worry about this part of the handle. You only want to worry about the top of the head, the part that you're going to be actually using. So this is one of my all-time favourites. This one here is perfect for blending colour under the eye. It's really tiny, and that helps to get the colour on nice and softly blended, and then I can bring that around there and help with the shape of my eye. A lot of people might just use their blending brush or a flat head brush and then just go straight on the top to get the shape of the eye. But I find this trick of using this small brush, running it underneath the eye along the lash line and bringing it up, works on every individual differently because it follows the actual person's eye shape. So you don't really have the trick of this, you don't really have to know too much about the eye shape. If you do this trick, running it around, it's going to give you the perfect eye shape for that individual. Then we go to the tackle on fibre. The tackle on fibre you can work into your art brushes. I love this shape for the lips because it's got the dome head, or what they call a cat's tongue in the art world. This nice round tip, actually when you press it onto the lips, gives a really nice curve in the bow if you can't get around there. And maybe you've got a natural bow, which is easy, and if you don't, this is going to give you that classic natural bow. My other go-to brush for lips, it's tackle on fibre and it's got a square head on it. When I'm using this, I'm going to be using this to give me a nice clean line around the edge of the mouth. Talking about the tackle on fibre brushes, these brushes are great for concealer or neutraliser. I prefer a neutraliser than a concealer, but we'll talk about that later. This is great for just putting it in the colour or the product exactly where you need it, and then we can go in with a fluffier brush and then blend that edges away, or blend those edges away so it disappears into the skin. These are the brushes that I would use for my neutralisers and concealers. So Complexion Brushes, this is a nice easy foundation brush. It's got like the tackle on fibres, vegan hair, and there's a lot more dense fibre to about this level. As you get up higher, it's a lot less hairs, which give you a nice softer application. The other brush that I love, my foundation brush. With this brush, it's got a really nice flat surface, so when you put the foundation on, we can run it under the eyes and run our brush down the sides of our neck, and that's going to give us a lymphatic drainage of if anybody has a puffiness to their eye. So under the eye and down the side of the neck, a little bit more pressure, that helps. You can actually feel it drain away. So these would be my go-to powder brushes. This one is the vegan hair brush. Nice, thick, dense hair, but a soft application of product. And these two are my Kabuki brushes, which is a natural hair. A larger domed head and a smaller brush for dedicated highlights on my cheek. Or this one, when I apply my blush, pressing the brush down a little bit flatter is going to give me more product. And just tipping the brush just on the skin is going to give me a small amount of product. So as I'm applying my blush, and I'm pressing and I'm lifting off the brush, I'm getting a nice finish to the edges of my blush. It looks more natural rather than applying flat like this where you get a stripe on the face. So these would have to be my three go-to brushes for powder. They're brushes that I'm going to use for my blush and or contour. When I'm doing my contour, I'm going to start the brush at the end or near the ear, and I'm going to flick my brush up as I come along the cheekbone. That way, as the brush leaves the skin, I'm going to get a softer finish here. I'm not going to get that hard edge as if I wrap my brush up and down the skin like that, which I'm going to be doing two jobs if I do that. I put it on and then I have to get another brush, a clean brush, and blend those edges off. If you press your brush, another little tip is to tweak the brush like this, and push it in and let it release from the height of the bone. So whatever the bone is, or wherever the bone is, you're going to release, release, release. You get a nice finish on the top. I'm then going to grab this smaller brush and dip it into my highlighter, and I'm just going to put that in a thumbprint shape just under my eye, not again going up and down. When you go up and down, you can see that the product has been applied, and when you apply it in this way, flicking up, releasing it from the actual bone and just touching the top of the cheek. That way it's a more natural highlight, so when you turn, whether your model turns, you're going to get a nice highlight and a high cheekbone from using it this way. I like to use these brushes here. So this brush here is going to give me a great nice sharp edge for my eyeliner, but also I can use it with a brow gel or brow product and put it into my eyebrows. The flat angle brush, this is a Taklon fiber brush as well. Taklon fiber gives you a nice sharp edge to the brush rather than it being a hair and the brush becomes all splayed, or the hairs become all splayed, and then that way you don't get that nice sharp finish. Taklon fiber, you'll get the sharp finish from. The other liner brush I like to use is a flat definer Taklon fiber brush. With this brush, if I don't want to see an eyeliner, I dip it into my product and I just press the brush into the lashes and move the brush and wiggle it as I move along. That way I'm not seeing any colour on the skin, I'm only defining the actual eye. So on the bottom in the lashes and or on the top, and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We get a nice definition of the eye shape there. The brushes I like to use, I go to the art stores and find some nice different heads on the brushes. This one's a tiny little round tipped brush, and I can do a nice clean liner with that. Sometimes if I'm doing a liner and I've got to come in through here, the square angled brush is too heavy or too big to get in here, but this can help me finish off my eye design by just getting the tiny brush and working on the inner part of the eye. The brush I like to use for mascara is a mascara wand, and when I use that mascara wand, I bend the end so when I'm applying it I can see what I'm doing. If it's still flat, my hand is in the road or can be in the road and I can't see what I'm doing. So bend the tip, mascara, 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 and it's very easy to apply, very easy to use. Just don't double dip into your mascara. This other brush I love to use is the fan brush. Sometimes the mascara one is too big and I can't get to the root of the lash, so this is where this brush comes in handy. I put my mascara on this brush and I go right into the root and pull the brush out. That way I've got black lashes or blue lashes or green lashes from base to tip. So they're my favourite mascara brushes.